Hello everyone, this is Lais from Be Happy Now, and today I'm sharing with you a little presentation about the 9 ways that your past can be influencing you right now and the way you wish to create your future. So I'm gonna share my screen because I prepared a little presentation here. So let's see if that works. There we go. So I hope you see my whole screen. So as you see on the picture, and the older we get, the more we accumulate in our lives, of course. So at some point it might just feel like this heavy weight that we are carrying with us, depending on all the things that we experienced in our life. And I'm just gonna dive deep now and show you or talk about the 9 elements that I find are the heaviest when I work with my clients. Okay, so just a little bit about me. My name is Lais. I'm the founder of Be Happy Now, and I'm a psychic healer, and I also do space clearings, and I created a program that is called Abundant Chicks. And Abundant Chicks is all about healing your past so that you can master your present and then create the future you desire. So what's happening today is part of my program, which is Heal Your Past. So the 9 blocks, you can see them on the top, but I'm gonna talk about them one by one. So the first one is called trapped emotions. So what is an emotion? Actually, have you ever thought about what an emotion is? So the greatest way to explain what an emotion is to see it as an energy in motion, emotion. And that's what it is. Every emotion has an energy to it, and every emotion has also different frequency about it. So obviously all the positive emotions like joy, peace, and love, they have really high vibrational frequency about them. And then the negative emotions, and those are the ones that I wish to talk to you about today, the trapped emotions, the ones we haven't dealt with, the ones that we never talk about, that we pretend never happened, and that are lingering still in our system. All those negative emotions have a very low frequency to them, and they are flowing as energy throughout your body, and they can attach themselves to different organs. So if you're into Chinese medicine, for example, Chinese medicine talks about how different organs will attract different kind of negative emotions. So the liver is known to hold on to a lot of anger. Your bladder is known to hold on to a lot of fears. And so every organ in your body will attract a certain type of negative emotion. And the more you keep feeling that emotion, or the more you keep those emotions trapped and don't really, let go of that situation or that emotion, the more your body and your whole system will get weakened by it, and then your immune system will get weakened by it. And this is how we develop lots of chronic illnesses and also mental illnesses like depression and so on. It's because we just haven't dealt with a lot of luggage in our lives. Basically, that's what it is. Okay, so as I said, trapped emotions, it can be your own unresolved emotions, but it can also be other people's emotions that you're carrying for them. And I see that all the time when I work with my clients, and most of them are empaths. And an empath is simply someone who's quite empathic, who can feel other people's emotions. It's the great listeners out there. It's the friends you go to because they're great listeners. At the same time, when we don't learn how to protect our boundaries, how to protect our energy system, our aura is like a sponge and will attract other people's emotions, negative emotions, into their system, and you'll be carrying it. So as I said, emotions are energy in motion. So it's very easy for a negative emotion from your environment, from your colleagues, from your family, your friends, to just travel from their body to yours. Okay, and it's so important to clear all those trapped emotions. And the way I work with clients is I can tell you exactly, I have a whole list of emotions. I can tell you which ones you're carrying. I can tell you if you're carrying emotions from other people, and then we can even find out what people they are. Okay, and the second area which I would like to talk about is limiting beliefs and fears. So just like with emotions, you can carry your own or you can carry someone else's. And this is something I recently found out in a workshop I had. So I was doing this exercise. I have a whole list of negative beliefs or limiting beliefs and fears. And this girl particularly, she was working on finding a soulmate. She wanted to attract a soulmate relationship. And when she told me that her limiting belief was something she couldn't really connect with because it was around the fear of credit card bills or not being able to pay credit card bills. And so we found out that she wasn't, that it wasn't her own limiting belief, but it was actually attached to her parents and their constant worries and struggles around paying bills and including credit card bills. And she was carrying those worries, that negative energy, in her own energy field for them. So since then, I do the same work as with trapped emotions. I will check if you're also carrying other people's limiting beliefs and fears in your own body. Okay. And so, yeah, the problem with limiting beliefs and fears is that the more we keep, thinking about these things, we keep playing it small in our lives. And our subconscious mind governs up to 90% of our thoughts and our daily actions, and the whole way we live our life is governed 90% of our subconscious mind. So even if you consciously think, I'm ready to, let's say, attract a soulmate relationship, if you subconsciously believe you're not worthy of love, or you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not good enough, and whatever else we carry, you're just not gonna attract someone nice, or even worse, you're gonna attract someone with the same low vibrations, and you just don't want that. So very important to clear all those limiting beliefs from your body, from your subconscious mind, and to replace it with positive beliefs around the things you wish to manifest. So number 3, heart walls. So heart walls are like an energetic shield, and they are around your heart. And when I work with people, I can feel it with my hands. You can feel where this wall stops. And it's something I practice with my students too. They can all feel it. If someone has a heart wall, it's very easy to feel it. And so what happens is they can come for a variety of different reasons. They can come, as a child, maybe your parents were fighting a lot, or your dad left the family, or your mom left, someone died unexpectedly. There was a lot of, fighting with your friends. Maybe you lost a friend and then you came into dating age and you had breakups and dating drama and all these scenarios, including, later divorces and all that stuff that life just throws at us, will create a heart wall. And it's just our way to protect ourselves so that something like this may never happen again, right? So in one of my workshops, one of the girls, she had 22 layers of these heart walls, and they started as of when she was 1 year old. And so what I teach is how to find those heart walls, the ages they came about, and then how to release it. Very important. Because also if one of your goals is to manifest the soulmate, you want to get rid of all those walls, because we always attract what we are ourselves. So if you are currently hosting like 30 heart walls, you're going to attract a man or a woman that has the same kind of vibration, someone that is closed up and doesn't want to share and give freely their love or to receive love freely. So this whole work of deleting heart walls, removing them from your field, your energy field, is really about enabling you to give and receive love in equal amounts and to open up completely. And if you are already in a relationship right now and you feel like when you entered it you had some heart walls, then chances are your partner might have too. And then by removing it, by doing this work together as a couple, you can actually deepen your relationship and just communicate on a deeper level, show more emotion, show more love, communicate your love in a deeper way. It's quite transformational when you work on your heart walls. Okay, so number 4, etheric cords. Now what's that? Those are energy cords, and they can link you to people, and it can be ex-partners. If you had an ex relationship with someone and you still occasionally think about that person, you are still energetically linked to that person, and it can be vice versa too. if you are completely over your ex, but your ex is still thinking a lot about you and is not over the relationship, he or she will still be energetically linking to you. And the way it looks like, I'm just going to show it in this picture here. And this is just, different places in your energetic system where these cords can be. So one, for example, on top of the head, that's your crown chakra. So if you're linked to someone there, it can mean, doesn't have to, but it can mean like I own you. It can be someone that's very possessive, very jealous of you, and just wants, you to be around all the time. And so as you go down in your energetic system, your third eye chakra in the middle of your forehead, it's someone that is very needy of your attention. If it's in your heart chakra, it's, very needy of your love. And so as you can see here, all the links that go down the body, there's always, an unbalance to it in this relationship. There's always a neediness. So when I do couple work, I always check what kind of links there are between people. And then the important bit is to clear them, to cut through them, whether it's a partner or ex-partner. I work with people who have these links with their parents because there's just, too much neediness from one side or too much worry. Any unbalance in any relationship can cause these sort of cords. Okay, so people is not the only thing. Locations. Now, I work with a lot of expat people here in Geneva and Switzerland. They come from all over the world. They come here to Geneva and they're not rooted here. They don't feel at home here. Sometimes it takes some time, right? And so their energy is still flowing to different locations where they lived before. And then they just are lacking energy all the time because most of their energy is not here. And so if you are lacking a lot of energy because you're moving around a lot or you don't feel home where you're currently based, just know that it's normal. It just means your energy is flowing into different directions. Now, next one, substances. I worked with a girl and she had come for healing, and I saw in my mind's eye this cord to alcohol. And that was funny, and I was wondering what's going on there. So after the treatment, I asked her, so I saw this link to alcohol. Can you tell me something about that? And then she said, well, actually, I work in a bar. And just yesterday, I was drinking a lot. I probably drank too much. I'm still hangover. And so, it will just show in your energy if there is an imbalance with substances, whether it's alcohol, it can also be heavy medication you have to take, and also drugs. If you have any sort of physical need for any kind of drugs, it will show in your energy, and it will just be dragging a lot of your energy, all of those substances. Organs that I recently found out in a workshop when I was working with a girl. She had, I don't know, maybe 3 to 5 of these etheric cords, and she found all of them apart from one. And it wasn't linked to people, it wasn't linked to locations, not to items, not to spirits. And so we had to find what it was linked to until we found out it was linked to her liver. And so I was asking, so why is it linked to your liver? And she went into, a little meditation and found out that her liver wasn't feeling well, that it was a bit unbalanced, and that it needed attention. And so it was funny to find out because she told me even the night before or the day before, she was feeling some tension around her liver area, not even knowing that her liver was there. So when I showed her that this is the liver, she immediately knew, oh, okay, that's it, right? So sometimes your organs really want your attention. And when we do this work together, and there's any organ in your system that needs attention, you will know it. There will be a cord, there will be an imbalance. And then items and objects. So that can happen if you inherited, like, let's say something really valuable that you really care about. And then I had a client where her grandma's jewelry was stolen out of her home. So she really freaked out. She was really panicked about it, really depressed about it, because, it was like one of her favorite pieces. And then it was, from her grandparents. And so we can be linked energetically to objects, to money, to items. If we're very materialistic in some way, we might be linked to all these things. And then spirits. So earthbound spirits, it's spirits that haven't left this world yet, that are still here, and it can be your ancestors who are still, around. My Brazilian grandma used to be around quite a bit after she died for 1 or 2 years. She just felt like she wanted to be there and to guide us all a little bit. And whenever we tried to make her go away, she wouldn't. and um, and that's true for many of our ancestors. They're just curious. They want to hang around. Other times, spirits are just confused. Some of them really don't know they died. Others are just afraid of, continuing on their journey, because if they were very religious and they had this concept of hell, they might be scared of being judged and ending up in hell. Others might not even believe there is something after death, and so they are very confused. What's going on now? And so in my work, I teach people, and I also do it myself, communicate with those spirits in a loving way so that they all can step into the light and go to their eternal homes. And these spirits, sometimes they follow my clients because they know they can get, some advice. And so you can see that in these cords as well. There's this attachment. So there you can see, very important to learn how to cut or find these etheric cords and then learn how to cut them, because that really lowers your vibration. If you're connected to other people, your ex-partners or to some parents, and they are going through rough times, their energy is just flowing to you, and that's lowering your vibrations, which means, it will be so much harder to master your present time, feel happy, feel lighthearted, and to manifest the future you desire. Because manifesting the future we desire, we have to feel well in the present. We create the future based on how we feel and how we think in the present. So it's so important. Next up, number 5, your parents' story. So that's an exercise I always do in my workshops or in one-on-one work, is depending on what you wish to manifest. If it's, a new career, a higher salary, or you want to go be self-employed, or you want a soulmate, or just a better relationship with yourself, always go back to how you grew up and how your parents lived exactly that with what you wish to manifest right now. So for soulmate relationships, how did your parents interact with one another? Did you feel they had a soulmate relationship? Were they loving? Could they communicate their love among one another? Could they communicate it with you? Did you feel loved? What was love like in your childhood growing up? Or if it's around money, how did they deal with money? How did they talk about money, right? So really think about what you wish to manifest in your life right now, and then how your parents would have talked about it, because there might be some major blockages there. For me, for example, I grew up in a wealthy household. My dad had his own company. We didn't, lack any money or anything, but he was unhappy at his job. He had inherited that company from his dad, and it was nothing what he actually wanted to do. So he got very depressed. He developed an alcohol problem. He was an alcoholic. And so I grew up with this feeling, or this limiting belief, it was a limiting belief, that money doesn't make you happy. Now, that doesn't suit you when you're self-employed, because then you will sabotage yourself all the time, right? So I really had to work on this belief and let it go, and know that my parents' story or my dad's notion of money was not my own. And that's just an example, and there's so many different examples of what we inherit, and we continue holding on to it on a subconscious level. Okay. Next, number 6. It's about your womb and birth memories. So, and this I do with regression under hypnosis. I take my clients back into the womb of the mom, and they will feel all the emotions the mom went through, and you can feel it so clearly. It's amazing. I had one client, her mom was left by her partner while she was pregnant, and so my client just started crying and crying because she felt all that despair and that sadness, and it was so heavy, right? And there's all sorts of different things you can feel while your mom was pregnant. And also, if your birth was traumatic, if you have been put into an incubator, there might be feelings later on in life of having been abandoned or feeling unloved. And it's so healing to go back then, to those memories, and to heal it right at the source, right at the root. And it's just your inner child then that needs a lot of attention, a lot of healing being brought back into that time. Very easy to heal as well with that method. Next up, number 7, ancestral baggage. Now that's a heavy one depending on your ancestral lines. And you have 4. So there's from your mother's side 2 lines, right? Her mother's side, her dad's side, and the same on your dad's side. When I work with clients one-on-one or in my workshops, we always go back to 7 generations. And I can tell you exactly what happened in those generations in terms of trauma or emotions that were brought on to the next generations. And there's a whole study made, it's called epigenetics. And they could prove that, what we inherited from our ancestors, it's all their traumas and emotions. Okay. So also very important, and most of the times when we heal or send healing back into all these ancestral lines, people feel so much lighter. Okay, number 8, past lives and karma. So you might have very turbulent relationships or had them in the past where you didn't understand why it was so difficult. It could be romantic relationships where it was on and off and yet you couldn't let go of it. It could be with your siblings, with your parents, where it's just not flowing and you just keep fighting and judging each other, and it's very painful, those relationships. And the most painful relationships you have in your life right now are relationships that you had in past lives already, where something happened, where it ended in a unbalanced way with unfinished business, and so you come back here to heal whatever happened in past lives. That's what happens. So in past life regression, I take my clients back into their past lives and they can understand what happened, with the people that were so difficult in their lives. The same with fears and phobias. Sometimes we have fears, we don't know why. Nothing happened in this life for us to have that fear or that phobia. And then when we go back into past lives, we suddenly find out, my God, that makes total sense. So I had one client, for example, she was very scared of giving birth to handicapped children. And that fear just came out of nowhere. No one in her family was handicapped. None of her friends, gave birth to handicapped children. It was nothing that she grew up with and had to experience. So being brought back into a past life, she saw herself giving birth to a handicapped child, and I think it even died, and she felt very guilty about that. So she was holding on to that fear in this life. And that's just one example. There are so many more examples. Abuse of power. Now, if you find yourself, for example, in abusive situations a lot in your work, in your private life, and I mean any kind of abuse, whether it's emotional, mental, physical, sexual, anything really, most of the times it has its roots in past lives. And we are not all just good souls. We also had terrible past lives where we abused our own power, and then if we experience all this abuse of power in our life right now, it might be because we did the same in past lives to other people. It's this notion of karma, cause and effect, and it doesn't always play out in one life. Sometimes it needs many lives to be brought into balance. So if there is a lot of abuse in your life, in whichever form, just know that I think up to 90-95%, it's clear that in past lives something will have happened. And then again, it's very healing to let go, to go back into those past lives and heal that karma. And about past lives and talents and gifts, you can find out what your talents and gifts were. And many times I work with clients who are so scared of finding their unique gifts and to live those gifts. And they are scared of, quitting their conventional jobs with the high salaries and to actually pursue their creative talents. And so when we go back into past lives, we find out what happened in those lives, and we can heal that so that people feel more confident to find their unique gift, their life purpose, and to actually pursue their life purpose. Because if you're in the wrong job, there's nothing more that sucks your energy and your life force energy than that, right? Being surrounded by people you don't connect with, doing a job you hate, and that really sucks any happiness out of your soul. Right. Number 9, and the last criteria here, it's the collective unconscious. So that's a field that we can link to, and that contains everything that was thought, everything that was felt, and you can be linked to different aspects of this collective unconscious. You can feel the pain of the entire world, you can feel the turmoil in your country, you can feel if anything happened in your town, if you connect to it. It can be about the field in your work, if there's a lot of tension in your work. there's a whole field of tension that you can connect to and feel. Or in your family, if you live in a house and your family is going nuts currently, or there's a lot of instability, there's this unconscious field of energy in your own home that you can connect to, and then it will just drag down your whole energy because you're connected to everyone's emotions and thoughts. So again, it's so important to learn how to unlink ourselves again when we feel we are connected to this higher level of energy. And the negative parts, there's also the positive parts, of course, but that's a whole different story. Okay, so here's just a bit of a summary what happens when you have all these blocks. And as I said, all of these things will lower your vibration. You will feel heavier because of it, and this will prevent you from first of all, feeling as happy as you could be in your present life, and therefore it will be so much harder to manifest your desires and dreams in the future. Or you will be manifesting, but you will be manifesting out of this vibration you're at now, meaning you will manifest the same people with the same luggage, the same heaviness, situations that are not good for you. If you have been in abusive situations before in a relationship, if you don't heal it, if you don't deal with it, you're going to end up in the next relationship and it's just going to be the same. That's why it's so important to deal with all this baggage, right? You will keep playing it small with all those limiting beliefs and all that stuff. You're not going to move forward in your life because you will be sabotaging yourself. You will feel less energy. You might get sick more often. As I said, with the emotions, the more we keep holding on to all those negative energies, our immune system just gets weakened and we get sick more often. As I explained also with relationships, you might have turbulent relationships, go from one to another. You might, always be around drama, and it's just not nice. And you might be in the wrong jobs and feeling confused about your life purpose. So it's really in everyone's interest to look at all those 9 areas and try and get rid of all those baggages. All right, so now what? If you feel like you would like a mini session with me to go through your top 3 blocks, I can give you a little outline. I will intuitively access your energy and I will tell you exactly the 3 top things that are blocking you from your past. And all you have to do is go on that link that you see below and book yourself in. And the next thing, if you wish to be kept updated on other free webinars, freebies, and the free energy forecasts that I send out in my newsletter, you can pick the link below and easily subscribe. Have a nice day. Lots of love. Bye bye.